Hi, my name is George Choike. I'm the owner of Paragon Learning Center in Carrollton, Texas. We specialize in SAT testing. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about who versus whom as an SAT tip. The words who and whom are both relative pronouns. I'll have a trick for you later, but first I want you to actually understand the right way to use these two relative pronouns. First, to know whether to use who or whom, we need to talk about the difference between subjects and objects, because you use who when you're referring to the subject of a clause and whom when you're referring to the object of a clause. If we think about people, the subject of the sentence is the person doing something, and the object of the sentence is having something done to them. If I step on a spider, then I am the subject and the spider is the object. When to use whom? Okay, so you want to know about who versus whom. But what I think you really want to know is just when to use whom, because most people don't go around throwing unneeded whoms into their sentences. So remember, you use whom when you're referring to the object of a clause. Use who when you're referring to the subject of a clause. For example, it is, whom did you step on? If you are trying to figure out that I had stepped on the spider. I know it's shocking, but the Rolling Stones were being grammatically incorrect when they belted out the song, Who Do You Love? Now, when to use who? So, when is it okay to use who? Well, if you're asking about the subject of these sentences, then you would use who. For example, who stepped on the spider? In this case, the one you're asking about is the subject, the one taking action, not the one being acted upon. So, here's a quick tip. If it's still too hard to remember, okay, well then here's the quick and dirty tip. Like whom, the object pronoun him ends with an M. When you're trying to decide whether to use who or whom, ask yourself if the answer to the question would be he or him. That's the trick. If you can answer the question being asked with him, then use whom. And it's easy to remember because they both end with the letter M. For example, if you're trying to ask who or whom did you meet, the answer would be I met him. Him ends with an M. So you know to use whom. Whom did I meet? But if you're trying to ask who or whom stepped on the spider, the answer would be he. He stepped on the spider. There is no M. So you know not to use whom, you would use who. So that's the quick, dirty little trick. If you can't remember that you're supposed to use whom when you're referring to the subject, to the object, or to the subject, who, you use the quick, dirty little trick. Now, let's look at a few examples. First of all, Charles Dickens, who or whom, is one of the greatest novelists of the 19th century, is my favorite author. Which one would we use? Charles Dickens, he is one of the greatest novelists. We would use who because we're referring to he in this sentence. Number two, do you know the name of the Dickens character who or whom sees 3 ghosts on Christmas Eve? We would ask ourselves, who sees the 3 ghosts? He sees the 3 ghosts. We would use who. Number 3, is Oliver Twist the character who or whom you chose to write about in your paper? I would say, I chose to write about him. Him would become whom. Number 4, who or whom is the heroine of Thackeray's Vanity Fair? Well, we would say to ourselves, he or she. In this case, she is the heroine. Therefore, who is the heroine would be the correct answer. And finally, number 5, is there anyone writing today, who or whom, you would compare with Dickens? Well, again, we would say, I would compare him with Dickens. Therefore, we would say, whom you would compare. Hey, thanks for watching today. Again, my name is George. I'm the owner of Paragon Learning Center. If you're interested in SAT classes, please give us a call and we'll help you out the best we can. Thank you.